Okay, welcome back. Okay, in this video, we are now going to actually connect your domain name and your house. We're going to connect those together because in the previous domains, or not domains, but in the previous videos, we registered your domain, so we got you a address, and then we also set up your hosting. So now you have a house for your website, if you will. Okay, so now we've got an address and we've got a house. So now what we need to do is we need to connect the two together and then install WordPress. And that's what we're going to go over in this particular video. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing you want to do is actually go to, you should have received a letter, email from HostGator. And in that email, they gave you a username and password. Okay? So what we're going to do is once you know that password, once you have that information, then you will go ahead and log into your cPanel. And I'll tell you the reason why once we get in there. But you log into your cPanel, which is your HostGator control panel. Okay, once you're logged on, and you can just kind of go past the advertisements, and this is some extra training if you decide you do want to do that, but I'm going to say no thanks here. Now, what you want to do now, as I said, we want to connect your house, which is HostGator, with the domain name that you chose. Okay? Now, let's go back to HostGator, and what you do is scroll down, and you will find what they call um, name servers. And what we're going to do is take these two name servers, and that's a server names, I should say, and we're going to take these and we are going to add them to Namecheap, to the domain name that we selected, and then the domain name will now know where the site is being hosted. Okay? So let's go ahead and you can just do this, copy this, and you can just copy one of them because we're going to add both of them, but you're just going to change the number. So I'm just going to copy this one and I'm going to put it in a notepad just so you can see what I'm talking about and paste that there. Okay? Now let's go over to Namecheap. And when you're in Namecheap and you want to find your domain name once you've logged on, you just can click on this link here, or at least hover over it, and then click on Manage Domains. Okay. Now I have a list of domains, but I'm going to use this one right here, chuckw.com. Okay. Now, what you want to do now is click on Transfer Domains to Web Hosts. Okay, and what you're doing again, you're transferring. Right now, your Namecheap only knows about their own DNS names, so therefore they don't know where you're hosting your website. So right now, your address is pointing to Namecheap, if you will. But what we're going to do is we're going to set it up so that your domain address will now point to HostGator. Okay? So that DNS name that we took from HostGator earlier, this one right here, and we put here, okay? We're going to go over to Namecheap, and you can just go ahead and copy this in case you didn't keep it in your clipboard. Just go ahead and copy and go here. Put this one as the first one, and you're actually going to put 2 in. So paste again, and in this case the number was 4. Okay? And just so you can see again what I was talking about, if you look here, you got ns6493.hostgator.com and ns6494.hostgator.com. Okay? So that shows um, the domain or DNS server that you need to point to. So once you've done that, you want to go ahead and save this, and you should get something back as processing saying that the update completed. Okay, so it shows here domain servers are now updated. Now that that's updated, and it usually, depending on what domain registrar you're using and what hosting you're using, all of them, it may take a few minutes, may take 24 hours. It depends on the the hosting and also the name server. But in most cases with HostGator, it's normally fairly quick. So what I'm going to do next is now that we have connected the two, we've connected your address with your house, so your name's domain name with your hosting. Okay, so now you've got an address and you've got a house. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to install what I want to call a WordPress floor plan, because that's really what WordPress is. We've installed a house, we've got an address, and now we're going to build a house with the material from WordPress. That's the next thing. So we need to install WordPress, and the easiest way I think to install it, and there's other ways to install it, is when you're logged into your HostGator control panel. You want to scroll down and go to, first we want to add a domain. That's the first thing we want to do, is add a domain. So you're going to go ahead and say add a domain. Okay, and the domain that I had was, if you remember, let's go back and look at our domain, was Chuck W. So we're going to go ahead and copy. That's the best way to do it. Just go ahead and copy it and put that here. Paste. And then it will fill out some of the information for you, because now it's creating a place on the server. And you have to put in a password, so we're just going to call it okay. Okay, there. Now, just so you know that this password and this the ID that you have here, which it is called Chuck W. In this case, this is when if you decide that you want to log into the server and go to this particular folder or file on your server. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but that's normally what that would be used for. If you wanted to transfer some files to the server, you'd be able to do that by logging into the server using a file transfer program. I'm not going to go over that today, but I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. So you don't need this right now, but you do want to keep this information, okay? Now, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and say add domain. Okay, it's going to take a few minutes. There you go. Now it says the add-on domain chuckw.com has been created. So it's been created. So now that you've got that set up, and actually you want to go home, that's what you want to do. Click on home. Okay, now that you're back on the home page for your control panel, now that we've created, I want to say we've connected the two, HostGator with Namecheap. So with your names, your domain name, we connected those two, and now we've created a space or a place for us to start installing WordPress. Okay, just by creating that adding that domain. So we were adding the domain to HostGator. Now that we've added it, we completed the connection. So now we can install WordPress. So what we want to do now is go down to here. Again, you're still in the HostGator control panel. Scroll down and go to what's called Fantastico. So look for the blue smiley face, if you will. Okay, and go ahead and click on that. All right, now it'll bring up a Fantastical control panel, and now you just want to click on WordPress. Okay, now that you've clicked on WordPress, it gives you an opportunity to make a new installation. So you click on New Installation. Now, what we're going to do is looking at one of my other sites, but what we want to do is go down here and find the site that we want to install WordPress on, which will be chuckw.com. And we're going to leave this blank. We're not going to put this in any directory or anything like that. We're going to leave it blank. And I'm going to create a administrator name. I'm just going to leave it as Chuck W. And then password. And normally it shows a password here, but we'll just let's see, what password can we use. We'll just say ABC1234, and I'll change that later. And the nickname can be Chuck. We'll leave it at Chuck. And I'm not going to change the admin email or any of that right now. Okay, so now, and you can change it to whatever you want to change it to. The site name, we're just going to call it Chuck W. Let's just leave it like that since that's where we started. Now, so again, what we've done is we've selected our domain. That was the domain that you created on Namecheap and that you connected to HostGator when you created the add-on domain. And we also added the DNS to the Namecheap DNS transfer. We set that up, and now we added a username, a password, and this is the information that you will need to log into WordPress when you get ready to update everything on WordPress. Okay, so once you have that information, then you're now ready to go ahead and install WordPress. And essentially all you have to do is hit the install button. I'm not sure where I was going. Hit the install button right here. Okay, now it's showing that it's being installed. Okay, so what we want to do is go ahead and finish the installation. You hit that finish installation button and it should start the installation. Okay, now once you have that installed, okay, you want to go ahead and send an email to yourself. So just go ahead and put your email, whatever email that you want to send it to. So you put your email, and the reason why I encourage you to go ahead and put your email here, because you do want to make sure that you have this information. What it will do is send you your password, your user ID, and everything that you need. So go ahead and click send email. Okay, so that shows that it was sent to me. Okay, so now your installation should be done, essentially. Okay, so now what you should be able to do, if every installation, everything went fine. Okay, now that we've added or we've installed WordPress, let's go ahead and go to our site. Okay, hit enter. Okay, once you have WordPress installed, this is what your initial site would look like. Now, once you're ready to go in and start updating your house, if you will, WP, you just put in WP-admin, okay? And this will take you into your WordPress dashboard or administrator panel. You can call it that if you want it, but it's normally called a dashboard. So once you hit enter there, and then we go ahead and put in the password, and again you will receive an email that will have your password and your username. Now my username was the same as the website, Chuck W, and I think I said ABC1234, and I'm going to change that password later. Okay, so go ahead and log in, and now it automatically takes me into the WordPress dashboard. So now you're ready to make updates. You're ready to add posts and change your theme, and we'll look at some of those options a little bit later. All right, so now the next videos that we'll go over is adding a theme and creating posts. I'm sorry this video was a little bit longer, but it was long more to the reason because I wanted to make sure we went through all the steps so that you can actually have your site up and running. So I will see you in our next video.